So now I told, because he said the router, I draw the router here and I connected these VPCs and I told I am going to change this. So now I am changing it, right? Why? Because this. So when you create a VPC, it creates you a routing table called VPC routing table, right? So now our VPC CIDR is 10.0.0.0. So that routing table tells you 10.0.0.0 should route local, target is local. Okay, that is called VPC routing. That is why I said I am going to erase this, right? So now in your first photo you will have it and the second photo you won't have it. What happens is, now when you create any subnet within the VPC, you don't have to explicitly define these routing rules, right? This is something like a thing like this. So you have a neighborhood, when like that housing complex, there are multiple buildings, right? So once you come in, go from building to building, you don't need a special pass or something, you don't need a map. Why? Because you know it, it's within your community, right? The housing complex, you have a like building, so you can navigate because within the same complex. Likewise, so when the VPC create, it automatically create the VPC routing table. When the VPC routing table is there, so you don't have to explicitly set the routing path to different subnets, okay? But if you need this subnet to communicate with a different VPC, right, then you have to have either VPC peering or something called transit gateway, right. So, and I told, when the subnet defined, we can attach the availability zone, whether it is a Colombo or whether it is a Jaffna or whether it is a Gaul, right. So, he has question, can I define a subnet saying, okay, I need this subnet from Singapore? No, you cannot, right. So, this availability zone is within the region, availability zone is within the region, right. So, you cannot have a subnet VPC in Sri Lanka region, we do not have a region, if we have Sri Lanka region and then subnet in the Singapore region. But if you need next level high availability, right. So, you can create, let us say you create a Kubernetes cluster or something that has node in here this Sri Lanka, Singapore and US, very high available. So, then what you do is, for a moment let us assume this is a VPC, right. On-prem also we can do the same thing, not a big difference, right. So, this is a VPC. So, what you can do is, we have something called VPC peering. What it does, we peer this VPC to this VPC, okay. So, now when you want to reach from this VPC to this VPC which is in a different country or different, we don't say country is a region, right. Why we don't say country is a region? Because in a country like US, within the country they have multiple regions, US West, US East, US East 2, so and so. So, if you say country, it is wrong, okay. It is a region. So, now what they do is, we have a VPC peering in between these, assuming this is a VPC, we have VPC peering, okay. So, this VPC peering allow this to communicate with this one. However, this does not go through public internet, this use AWS own backbone connectivity. Okay. They say it is unlimited fast, but practically you cannot have something like that, but they guaranteed there is no latency being added to the traffic, right. So, this is not adding, but it is very less, and this is a backbone connectivity, they are not going through the public internet. The bad side of that is, if this VPC link, the backbone breaks, then your connectivity get lost, okay. So, that is the downside of that, right. That is how when you have a laptop, it is not the same technique. When you connect your laptop, when you connect to VPN, you can connect to AWS resources, VPC resources. Not the same technique, but kind of a similar mechanism. Okay. So that is the one thing, right. So now local routing you don't need, but if you want to go to explicit routing, you need to tell where it goes. So now now we have set up complete data center on the cloud, right, defining your own side block and the multiple subnets and so and so. Now we need to do something like this. So I told if we want to go to internet, you need to define 0.0.0. Internet gateway. If this routing table doesn't have it, then they don't have internet. When you don't have internet, we call it a private subnet. We call it a private subnet. Okay? Private subnet mean we cannot reach from outside. Especially there is some other thing called DMZ. Okay? I am not going to explain this now. DMZ is demilitarized zone. Right? So demilitarized zone, Yuddha Mukta Kalapa. Right. So that means there cannot be war happening in that area. So usually we put the databases and some sensitive data, protected data into DMZs sometime. Right. Not exactly databases, but just think for now there is a DMZ. So we'll park it to the network day. And here what happens is if you have a database or some sort of a data you want to like kind of give a next level security, you put into private subnet, and then this is a public subnet. We use something called NAT Gateway to translate and connect these two subnets, right. NAT stand for network address translation. There is something called NAT and PAT. NAT mean network address translation, PAT mean port address translation. Not much used as a PAT because port is not address, but it is also term. What it does is this, very simple, right. So now I am going to erase this data center. Okay. So I am going to erase this data center. So now this is your home. Okay, this is your home, right. So now in your home you don't have multiple service providers, no? Barely running one, right. Okay, so now this is your home. Okay, so now your home, you have a CCTV. Okay, you have a multiple CCTV camera setup. Okay, and there is a computer in your machine, in your home, running, let's say, some sort of your work. Maybe you are training a model, or maybe you are doing trading, or something is happening that computer has to run always. Okay. So now when you are in office, you cannot monitor that, you cannot check that what is happening in the computer, or you want to get some file from that computer, you cannot do it. Why? Because for a home you don't have a real IP. Okay, your IP is changing time to time, right. So now how this internet connection works? So their internet connection, whatever the service provider's internet connection come into a router, right, and then so this laptop is connected to the router. Okay. So now his IP is maybe 192.168.1.10, right. Router has two IPs, local IP is 192.168.1.1, and there can be IP from here 202.115.10.12 or something like that, right. Routers has two different IPs, right. If you when you home, if you open Google and ask what is my IP, they give the real IP, which is a public IP assigned by the service provider. But if you are in a home, this side you have the local IP. So now this IP is changing time to time. Okay, this IP is changing time to time. So now what you do is, let's assume there is something called DynDNS to figure out what is the current IP. Let's not go there because it's irrelevant today's one. So now what you need to do is you set up a rule in the router. You can do it just if you have some sort of ADSL or a fiber connection, go ahead and do it, try it today when you go home, right? But probably tomorrow no one has internet at home. What you can do is this, you can tell if requests come to 203.115.10.12 port 80, switch this to 192.168.1.10 port 80 or whatever the port. Okay. So now what you just did is NAT. You translate the network address. Okay. You translate the network address. So now you are coming from this IP and you go to here. Now when you have these cameras, for the DVR, you give a IP address, fixed IP address like this. Let's say this is a DVR. So when you put to this one, it hit the DVR, so you can see all your cameras. That is the magic. Those people who fixing the camera, you can check from everywhere. So this is the, go and ask, are you netting? I don't know, sir, we are netting, but you can see it. So this is called network address translation. So actually here port doesn't change. If you want to write route to a different port, the port also change. So now this is what it does. When the request comes here, we NAT it to a different address. Okay. For now, understand that level, that is enough. But when you deep dive into networks, we are going to discuss about the different way of doing NATing, right? Because for now, just think this one as a NAT. You change the network address to something else. This is happening all the time in a router, right? Because when you, let's say 10 of us here and trying to reach Google, the Google don't accept you from your local IP. You need a real IP, right? So then the router always doing this address mapping thing.